Hey, what's up everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. Some dudes across the street getting into it. One of them turned his back on the other one after arguing and made me turn on the camera. Everybody who watch me, man, never do that. Never do that. In the streets or anywhere in the world, if you getting into it with a guy, whether you think you can beat the hell out of him or not, never turn your back fully to where you can't see him behind you. Never do that, bro. Never do that. Because you never know if that's when he sees an opportunity to do something terrible to you. You turn your back on an opponent, y'all have trouble, y'all having trouble, y'all having trouble. Don't take your eyes off that person. Don't be so arrogant as to say, I'm going to turn my back on this person. Make sure you have a great deal of space between you and that person. Because he was right in front of this man, about as close as I am to my camera, and turned his entire back to him. He couldn't see him. Dude was behind him. I was like, oh, hell no, bro. Listen, man. That's how things go very, very wrong. And I learned this as a little kid. Do never take your eye off of your opponent. Never. But in situations like that, that's like a cardinal sin. You asking for something terrible to happen there. So that's, I don't know, man, what they were getting into. I ain't gonna get too close to find out. Growing up in Los Angeles, as I've said on this camera a couple times, you learn not to be curious about certain things. And when it comes to people fighting, I ain't never been curious about that. I'm not. Whatever your problem is, you're on the street, you're about to get it on, I just assume a gun about to come out. I assume a gun's about to come out. I don't expect nobody to fight fair, ever. We're not growing up out here, ever. Too many cowards in the culture out here that will be getting beaten up and then will pull out a gun. Or will be getting beaten up and then pull out a knife. It's just, it's too much of that in this city that is normal. And you hear that story so many damn times in your life, you just assume a gun getting pulled. I don't never expect to see no fair fight, no boxing match, none of that. I don't know where they do it at. But LA? No. I only expect a gun not to come out when I know that there's security at the door of a place that they've made sure that there's no guns in there. That's the only time when I expect there's no guns coming out. And a club is not included in that situation. A nightclub is definitely not included in that. I said making sure. Clubs do a terrible job in some cases of making sure that a gun ain't coming out. People be sneaking guns in the clubs all the time, as we know. So many times I done seen people shooting off guns that got snuck in the back door of the club, or that they snuck in some kind of weird way. I don't know how it is in this era because I ain't been to a club in a very, very long time. But back when I was running around, if there's a boxing match in a club, I expect for some type of weapon to be drawn. And if it ain't gonna be a weapon, then somebody's gonna hit somebody over the head with a bottle, and then you got your weapon right there. Like, it's just, the days of fighting fair, I don't know if they ever quite existed, but I know they haven't been in my lifetime. The 40 years I've been around, I don't know of too many fair fights. This is the land of people jump people. We were screaming court as little kids running around this area right here. And court means we jumping. Court, that means we jumping. Growing up in this area, right where I'm at, right where I'm walking, running around Children's Club in this area. Because this is ultimately where I grew up. This was an area where if you hear the word court, if they talk about you, you better run. Because court means it's going to be a bunch of people coming to kick you behind. That's exactly what that meant back in the day. I don't think they use that slang no more. But even now, I know better. If I hear the word court, I know what time it is. So, like, as far as fair fights and all that, I don't know what a fair fight is. Growing up in this area, I don't know nothing about no fair fight. I don't think I've ever seen one over here. It's guns, it's knives, it's multiple bodies on one. All cowardice. All cowardice. That's why it's kind of funny, because I know in LA here, when it comes to certain gang stuff, it's like that's organized a bit better in certain people's hoods or whatever. You know, run a fair one, run a fade. I'm sure they were doing that in other neighborhoods, but not over here. They don't run no fade. You getting jumped. And it was normal, man. Like, that was what you expected. It wasn't even taught as cowardice in this area. That ain't cowardice. Because a lot of the people who were doing the jumping were tiny, so they couldn't beat up one person by themselves any damn way in a lot of cases. I'm just being real. Them little dudes running around these neighborhoods, they run about 5'6", 5'7". Size 6 shoe. Like, they ain't beating up nobody, so they had to jump people. That was a fair fight. I'm just telling the truth, man. So that's why I'm telling people, like, given the fact that I seen this little situation down the street, it took me back to my childhood growing up over here, and just understanding, like, nah, it wasn't not where I was at. The hoods that was around here, no fair fight. They jumping. Like, that's what it was. It wasn't even that many shootings back in the day. It was mostly jumping in this neighborhood. And so that's what I want to tell people, man. Never turn your back on the opponent, bro. If you're going to get into some type of street fight or some type of issue with anybody, bro, you turn your back and you giving them so many options. So many options. You know what I mean? And a lot of times people are quick enough, very quick enough, to take advantage of that split second where they have you with your back turned. And I don't need to paint the picture of all the different things that could happen. Just know that they're not good, man. They're not good. Never turn your back on no damn opponent. So anyway, that's the gist of my thought, man. It ain't deeper than that. I wish this was a fair world of fair fights. And, you know, if you knuckle up with somebody, they knuckle back. But I just come to understand better, man. You grew up in this side of LA, man. It ain't like that, bro. It never was. Not as long as I've been alive. It never was like that. Ain't no fair fight. The street fights aren't fair, man. People pick up stuff, they throw stuff at you, they use whatever they can, bro, but they two hands. You understand what I'm saying? So let's just be smart in your situations, man. Try to de-escalate conflicts. I don't know what walk of life the person on the other end of this camera is on. I have no idea. Maybe it ain't necessary for you to think that way in your neighborhood. Maybe you're 7 feet tall, 360 pounds like Shaq. So you live in a world where nobody can beat you up any damn way. I don't know. I run about 5'10", man, 5'11", with shoes on. I'm not that big of a person. I put on weight as a grown man, but I ain't no big dude. And so we have to protect ourselves against the environment around us in a certain way. And when it really comes down to it, I'm not familiar with too many fair fights, man. Not too many. People pick up this, pick up that, point that, swing that, like grab the homies, all different types of stuff. And it's just, that's what you should expect growing up here, man. So that's pretty much what it is, man. I don't think it's anything to be proud of. I believe that the most respectable way to fight is fair. But people are different sizes. Sometimes you go get into it with somebody bigger than you. Sometimes you gonna get into it with an MMA fighter. You know what I mean? It may not be fair, even if it is fair, if that makes any sense. One-on-one ain't always fair when the other guy has a significant advantage. So that's why I would tell people that are 7 feet, 350 pounds, be very careful, fam. Because ain't nobody gonna want to fight you, bro. If they got something, they definitely gonna be wise to pull it out. And many will, man, many will. That's why getting into it with young people, don't think because somebody's young they won't try you, or just because it's a 17-year-old kid, a 16-year-old kid or something, they won't try you. They'd be the first ones to pull a blower out. Believe me. I learned that lesson early in life too. Oh, he's so young, he ain't gonna do nothing. He's about $120. He's $120. And that's why he carries what he carries. So hopefully I'm saving somebody's life or keeping somebody out of something stupid, man. Expect these kids to have something on them. Especially running around now. It was like that when I was little, so you know it's like that now. No fair fight. I don't know what a fair fight is, man. Not in this neighborhood. Maybe in y'all hood, but not here. BDL 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.